Hello and welcome back to Baking on a Budget. Now this week we are going to be making one of these. This is a spicy, moist ginger cake. Absolutely beautiful. And first of all, before we get started with this one, could I say a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I thank you very much. I really enjoy all of the comments and I hope it's encouraging people to get baking. So to make this delicious ginger cake, we have got 200 grams of self-raising flour. That's 10 pence. We have got 2 teaspoons of ground ginger at 14 pence. We've got 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon at 5 pence. For the wet ingredients for this, we've got 100 grams of butter at 75 pence. We've got 250 millilitres of milk at 15 pence. We've got 130 grams of brown sugar at 39 pence. And we've got 160 grams of black treacle at 36 pence. There's also a teaspoon of bicarb at about 4 pence, and there's 1 egg at 13 pence. Now with this, I've put the black treacle straight into the pan here, instead of putting it into a separate container first. I simply put the pan on the scales and weighed it out. This is very sticky and it's best to just put it straight in the pan so it doesn't stick to everything else. Just a point, you could substitute this for golden syrup also if you wished, but I thought I'd try this recipe with the black treacle. Now, what we want to do is get the butter in there. That's 100 grams of butter, and we want to get 130 grams of brown sugar in there, and then we want to put 250 millilitres of whole milk in there as well. And what we're going to do is put this over a low heat and let all of that melt together. So onto the hob with it, and that just wants to slowly melt down. You don't want too high a heat here, you don't want to boil it. And straight away the black treacle starts to give a little bit and all of that starts mixing in. Right, that is on the lowest heat it'll go, and whilst that's happening, let's get those dry ingredients mixed together. First thing is 200 grams self-raising flour. I'm just going to sieve that into the bowl. Looking good? And to that I'm going to add the 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Now this ground ginger I buy in the 100 gram packets. The small little bottles of the stuff can work out quite expensive, but the 100 gram packets work out a lot better. So that was 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and that was about 14 pence. Now we're also having a teaspoon of ground cinnamon at 5 pence, and you could also add some allspice into this if you wished, if you wanted it to be a little bit more spicy. But this is going to be fine for me. Now the only other thing to go in there would be a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. This is not baking powder, bicarbonate of soda. And that's going in there. And that bicarbonate of soda is about 4 pence. Now we just want to bring all this together. Looking good. Okay, with that all mixed together, we're just going to check on the liquid ingredients and see that they're melting down okay. Yes, that's coming along nicely. It's the butter which has taken a while to melt, but that's okay, it'll get there. And as I say, we just want to make sure this doesn't boil or start simmering too much. Just a very low heat and just give it a little time. Okay, and there it is. Just a couple of minutes later, all of the butter is now melted. That's a beautiful, silky, fantastic smelling liquid for this cake. Delicious. Now I've transferred the flour and the dry material out of this bowl, and what I'm going to do is add this liquid. And we'll get every last drop of that out of there. That's great. Now that needs to cool a little, and then I'm going to crack the egg, whisk it up and put it in there. I just want to whisk that egg up first. We don't want to put it in here when it's too hot because it may start to cook, which we don't want. Alrighty, that's had about 10 minutes, and I do believe that's about right. That'll be cool enough to take the egg at this point. So 1 beaten egg goes into the mix. And then we're just going to stir that in. And then straight after that, we want to put the dry ingredients back in. That's it. And we want to mix all of this up and combine all of these different ingredients until we get a nice smooth sort of pouring mixture. Now I'll do that with a spoon and then I'll get stuck into it with the whisk. So the spoon has combined it, and now we just want to whisk it. Again, you could use mechanical equipment if you're lucky enough to have some. I don't, I just have this hand whisk, and I'll just keep going with this. There it is, a couple of minutes later, everything is combined nicely, and that's a beautiful smooth pouring batter. So we are going to put this into a 2-pound loaf tin, and we just want to be careful here not to overfill this. If we overfill it, it's going to start spilling out all over the place. What you probably want is about 3/4 of the tin full. If it happens to go further than that, then we will simply make some small ginger cakes alongside that. But I think that's going to be fine. Let me just see if I can turn this around and scrape out the last of that. Rubber spatula is great for this. Alright, now that is going into a preheated oven. The oven is at 180 degrees and it's going to stay in there for 45 minutes. And you can probably hear the oven whining away in the background. Right, that's going in there now. Okay, 45 minutes later, look at this. The smell in this kitchen is absolutely beautiful, I've got to say. This looks like a beautiful ginger cake. I'm going to take it out of its tin and we're going to have a look at it. That is light and fluffy, beautifully soft and moist. And we're going to, as soon as that's cooled, we're going to take a slice from that, see what the texture is like inside. That has got a beautiful texture to it. It's really nice and spongy. That's still quite warm actually, I can't wait to have a taste. So it's still quite warm out of the oven, but it's got a beautiful spongy texture. It looks super moist and sticky, just as a ginger cake should be. And what I'm going to do is take a taste of that right now. Look at that. The taste of the ginger and cinnamon together, absolutely beautiful. As I say, you could make this more spicy if you wished. You could put some allspice in there as well, just a teaspoon, and that would make it a little bit more spicy. But for me, that is perfect. And of course a little coffee to wash it down with. I do hope you have a go at this. As you've seen in the video, it's a very simple cake to make, and it's absolutely delicious. You don't need any fancy equipment or exotic ingredients for this. Very simple. Stuff you can get from the supermarket. Dead cheap, dead easy. And as I say, this whole cake cost me £2.11 to make, making it about 35p a slice, and a gorgeous slice at that. And can I just say once more, for everyone who has subscribed to the channel, left comments, given me a thumbs up for the recipes, I thank you very much. This is greatly appreciated. And also, if you're new to baking and you would like to see more recipes like this, I'll take you through step by step. No expensive equipment needed or anything like that. You just need a bowl, a spoon, and your hands. So once again, I thank you very much for watching. Next week, I'm going to be making pizza dough from scratch and the topping sauce, the pizza sauce. Obviously, there's many different things you could put on a pizza. I think for the one which I make, it'll probably be a simple pepperoni. But that's next week's video. It's going to be pizza dough from scratch, and it's going to be a beautiful tangy pizza sauce. Thank you very much for watching.